Hey guys, Pamela Cluth here. Today's discussion is about the number one thing we all need to know and understand about stress in order to better master stress. When it comes down to stress, it really all boils down to one location in our brain. I call it the lizard brain. It's actually called the limbic center of our brain, but this lizard brain provides a really good visual for us to better understand how we can better master our stress. And that's because, much like a lizard, this job of this portion of our brain is to release chemicals, a biological response that allows us to outrun when it feels threatened, or to hide, or to fight. That's its job, is to assess and monitor the internal threats and external threats around us. It's to keep us safe, and it is very primitive. When it comes down to understanding that stress within us is a biological change that is taking place, if we can recognize it, we can stop it, we can shift it, and we can train our lizard part of our brain to better react to our situations when we really need to have those biological responses. We also can tune into our lizard part of our brain that when it is starting to release stress hormones, that we stop and pay attention and see what it is that it is feeling as a problem within our world. So for example, we all know about getting hangry when we're hungry. That actually is a really good example of a stress response. We start getting cranky. Those stress hormones are the reason why. When they get released, the biological change that is happening is also getting our attention so that we take action. Because if we don't feel hungry, we could starve or our blood sugars could crash to a point that is not conducive to our survival. So it forces us to take action. So there's great purpose into this biological chain reaction that takes place. And there are thousands of threats around us that could potentially trigger it. Some of us, like myself, with autism, and I have sensory challenges that really pick up the information around me. And so my lizard brain is quite reactive. And I've had to learn how to calm and shift and be aware, or to avoid triggers that would cause the stress hormones to be frequently released in my system. Because when they're frequently released in your system, we not only not feel good, we become dysregulated in many ways. Stress hormones can actually, with that biological process, start changing our ability to digest food, or see correctly, or think correctly, or even respond and react, because it is intended to be able to help us, again, outrun, hide from danger. And when it comes down to shifting this stress hormones, recognizing what's taking place is an important part of pushing a stop button and taking different actions, or maybe making better choices. Because when it comes down to these threats, it's not just what's around us currently, it is also maybe a response within our body that is not feeling healthy or well. Maybe it's not getting the proper nutrition, and that is triggering the lizard to react. When it comes down to a threat from the past, a previous memory or post-traumatic stress that took place, that can trigger the lizard brain currently in the now, even if it's not a real threat. Let me give you a quick example of that. If a child fell off of playground equipment in its past, and you bring 2 weeks later the same child to even a different playground, but he sees that same type of playground equipment, he may have a meltdown. That's because the lizard brain says, uh-oh, that was trouble before, and you need to get out of here so that you don't hurt yourself again. That's kind of how it works. Things from the past can cause triggers. things currently can cause triggers, things that are not being taken care of physically within our body, mentally and emotionally can trigger that lizard brain. And so understanding more about where we have this ability to bring in the tools and strategies to start overriding or compensating for a reactive nervous system is all part of the training your brain, or lizard part of your brain, that can essentially help you to manage stress better. That's the message here. Be aware of your lizard brain and start learning about the tools and strategies to be able to start overriding it. I've got plenty of information that's coming out there. You can find more about me at pamelacluth.com. Thanks for tuning in. I am wishing you well.